Well, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Tony Moran. I'm the mayor of Mansfield, and we are here on Saturday to talk about the current status of the train derailment in Mansfield. I want to start by pointing out that when accidents like this happen, they happen locally in very specific places, on a person's land, in a town. But this derailment could not have been dealt with if there weren't for the collaboration of multiple agencies across multiple levels of government, and both volunteer and regular paid services. So, for example, the train companies, the New England Central Railroad, owned and operated by the Genesee and Wyoming Railroad. Mansfield was the first responder, but we were supported by Yukon, by Hebron, by Talon, by Vernon, by Willington, by Talon County coordinators, by Willimantic Hospital, Wyndham Hospital paramedics. In addition, there were numbers of fire departments who joined us. We have very strong mutual aid agreements with our local fire departments, so we were joined by the town of Coventry, Ashford, Lebanon, Putnam, the Muddy Brook Fire Department, the Bungay Fire Department, the Canton Fire Department. In addition, because these towns are small, none of them can handle situations like this. We have regional agencies. So we have a hazardous materials agency called SARET, and it is composed of Yukon Fire, Norwich Fire, Mohegan Tribe Fire, Mashantucket Pequot Fire, New London Fire, and the U.S. Sub-Base Fire Department. All of these organizations participated in responding to this crisis. And I must say that it had the potential for being a much more severe problem than it was. And it was only because we had these very massive turnout of people, both from fire departments and other agencies, that made it a lot easier. It's not a simple project. It was very cold. People worked long hours in the snow and the cold. And so they needed shelter, they needed food, they needed respite, they needed warmth. And so we had multiple agencies bringing those services. Dayville Fire Department brought a canteen and rehab unit. There were support from the Miller and Westcon unit. Corville's Garage gave on-site mechanics. Our Department of Public Works brought fuel trucks and scene lighting. And that was just local. And by the way, it was very local. The landowner, the Greens Farm family, contributed greatly to allowing access to the site. The restaurant Taco brought food and large amounts of food to feed hungry and cold people. In addition, wait a minute, let me find the second page of the long list. In addition, the town of Chaplin gave scene lighting and generators. The FAA was involved because we didn't want extra drones flying around the site. So there were a lot of local people, but then there were our state agencies. We had the major state agencies were here, the state police, the Department of Environmental Protection and Energy and Environmental Protection, the Department of Emergency Services, the Department of Transportation, and our regional health district as well. We were in contact with federal people as well. There was contact with EPA, with the Transportation Department, with our two state U.S. senators, and so the support and the expertise and the well, just plain help came from all directions, from all levels of government. And I really want to extend thanks to every single individual person who contributed to this, whether they did it as a volunteer or as part of their regular job. This was a massive operation, and it is being completed. It is not completed, but it is being completed safely and as efficiently as could be done with 12 or more inches of snow and more coming down, and a very cold night. So I'd like to turn it over to our fire chief, Chief Roach, to give you the details and be open for questions at that point.
Thank you, Mayor Moran. So again, my name is John Roach, last name spelled R-O-A-C-H-E. I'm the fire chief and incident commander currently on scene. So since the last press briefing yesterday, we've actually made a considerable amount of progress thanks to the rail companies and the contractors that have been working and helping out. At this point in time, we're pleased to announce that all of the rail cars have been taken out of the river, off the rail bed. A couple of the cars that could be righted and put back on the tracks have been put back on the tracks. There are several other cars that have been taken. Again, we got them out of the river. They're now upright, secured. They are kind of in a cornfield, but they're in the field, so they're stabilized. They're not moving around. We've got the monitor. There's no leaks detected. The liquid petroleum gas, I got it right, is in the cars. It's staying in the cars right now. So we've kind of over the immediate hazard or concern that we've had. So with that, we have been working with our partners with DEEP and Homeland Security, Demis region. We have lifted the protect in place order that we had. And so now we're just telling people really kind of remain vigilant about and kind of awareness of what's going on. This is going to be kind of a prolonged operation on site. It's going to take a couple of days, if not a week or so, to get all of the product off of those cars safely, but we're doing it in a slow, safe, methodical method. So right now, and some of the weather's going to impact that as well, so we may actually take a pause a little bit for some of the product removal and focus on maybe stabilizing the scene and the rail bed a little bit more. So make that safe for the next day or two. And then we're going to be working probably throughout the next week, getting the product off of those cars again, but they're stabilized, upright, not leaking. So we're going to methodically go through, drain those cars, get them onto probably other rail cars so they can be transported out of the scene. We are just putting out a couple of notices to people. Be aware, first off, that Route 32 is going to be closed to through traffic for probably the next week or so. We are allowing people to access their residence, their homes. There are some businesses in that area. Those are going to be open for business. So like Desiato's Auto and Goody's Package Store, we want to let people know that those are going to be open and accessible. I know it's been a hardship for the businesses as well, getting in and out of there. So we are going to make it, they can access those from the 275 end of Route 32. But you're not going to be able to have any through traffic through the actual site in front of the actual derailment area, just out of an abundance of precaution. The other thing that we want to let people know is over the course of the next week, once we finish draining most of the product off of the cars to make them safe, what we do is what we call a purge or a burn off of the last little bit of vapor in that. That's in a controlled fashion. It's kind of like a large-scale gas grill, where you take the propane from your grill and burn it in a controlled manner. But we are going to be doing some flaring operations, so people may see some flames, especially at night. Those are going to be controlled manner for the next probably through the week. Other than that, at this point in time, we're going to be steady state and slowly working to get some more resources and crews in place. And that's all I've got, unless anybody has any questions.
Yeah, Chief.
Sure.
You mentioned the importance of being methodical. Can you just go into a little bit more detail about the process of getting those cars out of the water?
Sure. Actually, I could. Sure. We didn't take them out. The rail company had their contractors.
Brian McLean, New England Central Railroad. Yeah, it's just a lot of planning, a lot of heavy machinery and equipment comes in and just slowly one by one attaches to the car, make sure it's safe to do so, and just more or less lifts the car with a crane out of the water into the field where they're now secured and ready to be transported.
And can you speak at all to the weather conditions out there? Do they pose any issues?
Of course, your slip, strips, and falls are number one concern, along with the freezing temperatures and frostbite, things of that nature. But we have been able to work through it. We got a few inches of snow overnight, but things are still progressing good.
And on a weather note, just with the temperatures tomorrow, is that going to stop or delay the process? Is that continue on?
It will probably slow us down a little. We do anticipate, as Chief said, taking a pause if need be. Of course, safety is our number one concern always. But if we're able to work through that, we will continue to get things corrected and cleaned up throughout the week there. Thank you.
Yeah, the cars are upright, they're safe, they're not leaking, and that's our focus right now. So we don't want to rush into doing anything that would jeopardize that position right now. Any other questions?
Ryan Aylesworth, Mansfield's town manager. I did just want to say we have, as was stated in an earlier press briefing, a local emergency declaration in place, and the expectation is that declaration will remain in effect basically until all hazards are removed. We want to continue to use that declaration for the purpose of getting any resources we need, both while this is ongoing, but also in the aftermath. So that declaration will remain in effect, kind of open-ended at this point, until such time as the scene is clear and all hazardous materials are removed. So.
Well, thank you very much for coming and for covering this event. I know it's been a significant event in state news. We appreciate the coverage, but we also want everybody to know that this is being handled safely with a great deal of collaboration and cooperation. So thank you very much for your coverage.
Thank you.